Hello, good morning everyone. Now today we are going to see registers organization. Okay. This topic covers your registers of ARM7 as well as CPSR register. Okay. So we will see one by one. Now here in front of you, you can able to see a register organization summary. In this slide, you can see total 6 modes of operations like user mode, FIQ, IRQ, SVC, and SVC undefined and abort. Okay, so here R0 to R12 are the register, are the general purpose register used in user mode. Every register has a length of 32 bit. You can use this register as a bitwise. You can use it as a nibble wise or 8-bit, 16-bit, 24-bit or directly 32-bit register will be available for your use. You can use this register for holding the data as well as address. Similarly, the register R13 is a stack pointer register. I hope you are aware with the stack pointer. Generally, the stack top will be hold with the help of this. You can able to introduce the stack behavior in your programming. So whenever push and pop instruction are get executed, the stack pointer will pushes, the stack pointer will hold a data. Okay, it is used to create a temporary set of memory location. When a push instruction is executed, it pushes data into the stack memory. Similarly, when pop instruction is executed, that time the instruction recall data from the stack. Also, whenever you are going to do a branch control operation, in such situation also the call and return instruction are executed. So whenever there is a subroutine is get called, that time the next address of the instruction is also held by the stack pointer register. Okay, so that's why the stack memory will be necessary. Also, third way is interrupts. Okay, whenever you are going to handle the interrupt, in that situation also the stack area is also needed. Okay, so in interrupts, whenever the interrupt is get called, the routine interrupt service routine will get executed. So in such situation, the addresses register and status of the CPU will be reserved in the stack area. Okay, so that's why R13 is one of the important register in the ARM7. This R13 is called as a stack pointer register. Okay, now second one register that we will see here is the R14 register. R14 register is a link register. Up till now, whatever the controller or processor you studied in that, you cannot see the link register. Okay, now the first time you are able to see this R14 name, means link register. Okay, it is used for linking point of view, but question is how it will work. See, the link register is necessary in terms of interrupts. Whenever you are going to introduce a interrupt behavior like in FIQ and IRQ or SVC or undefined and abort mode, in these different modes of operation as well as in interrupt, the purpose of the link register is to do the link between the user mode and the respective mode. Okay, so when the processor will switch from user mode to FIQ, IRQ, SVC, undefined or abort. In such situation, the link register will get linking with the mode. It will hold the address of that specified interrupt routine. Okay, so that's why here R14 is a link register. That link register is available in every modes of operation. So whenever the user mode gets switched to other mode, that time the link register will hold address of the FIQ mode or IRQ SVC or undefined or abort mode. Okay, and the link register which is available in the FIQ or IRQ will hold the return address. Okay, means here the R14 register will be holding the address of that specified mode. Okay, so that's why here the link register is necessary. Similarly, R15 is a program counter register. This program counter register is used to fetch the next instruction. So it is available only in user mode. Okay, but it is present with every modes of operation. Okay, so if you see other modes register set, that time R15 is included in the register summary of every modes. Okay, now we are going to talk about the CPSR and SPSR register. Okay, now here question arises, what is CPSR register, what is SPSR register? Now see, as per the summary of this register organization, I conclude here ARMS has near about 37 register. Every register is 32-bit long. It consists of one dedicated program counter, one dedicated current program status register, 5 dedicated saved program status register, and 30 general purpose register. Okay, so total 37 register will be available for your use. Okay, the current processor mode governs which of several banks is accessible. Each mode can access. So a particular set of R0 to R12 register is available throughout all the modes of operation. A particular R13 is called as stack pointer register and R14 is a link register. The program counter register is R15 and current program status register is CPSR. Okay, so these registers are continuously available with every mode of operation. Now, privilege mode can also access a SPSR register. Now we will see how the structure of the CPSR register and SPSR register. Now if you talk about the CPSR register, the structure is in front of you in the slide. It is a 32-bit register. It has total 32 bit. They are independent and individually enabled or disabled by the user. Okay, so that's why we will see how you can use these how you can use these flags. Okay, so initially I am giving you information about the user oriented flags. Okay, so in this slide you can see all user oriented flags like condition code flag, interrupt disable flag, sticky overflow flag, T bit flag, J bit flag, mode bits flag. Okay, all these flags are comes under the user defined. Now we will see one by one. First one is condition code flag. Under this condition code flag, 4 flags are given like N, Z, C and V. N is a negative result from ALU. Okay, N is a negative flag. Okay, it will give you information about whether the result of operation of arithmetic and logic unit will be positive or negative. If it is positive, N bit will be 0. If it is negative, N bit will be 1. Keep it in mind. Remember, N is a negative flag. Okay, it will give you information about whether the result of operation from the arithmetic logic unit will be positive or negative. Okay, so that's why N indicate negations or negative flag. Then next one flag is Z flag. Z is a zero flag. Whenever the result of operation is entirely zero, means all 32 bits are fully zero, in such situation the Z flag will be 1. If any one bit from the out of 32 bit will be enabled condition, either it will be 1, then the Z flag will be 0. Okay, so that's why Z bit will be 1 only when the entire arithmetic and logic unit result is fully 0. There is no any kind of carry is considered. Okay, so that's why Z flag is mostly important whenever we are going for programming. Okay, similarly the carry flag C. C is a carry flag. C indicate any excess bit is getting generated whenever ALU will perform any kind of arithmetic and logic operation. So out of 32 bit, here this is the 33rd bit. Okay, this is the excess bit. Whenever the ALU will perform arithmetic operation or logical operation between the 32 bit, okay, then 33rd bit will get generated. In that situation, if that 33rd bit will be 1 or 0, if that bit is 0, carry is not generated. If that bit is 1, carry is generated. Okay, so that's why this is about the carry flag. Now V is indicating a overflow flag. We indicate overflow situation when you are going to carry out any arithmetic like addition, subtraction, then there is no any possibility of overflow flag generation. But when we are doing any multiplication or division operation, then there are major chances of overflow flag enabling. Okay, because whenever we do multiplication between the 8 bit, then the result may be 16 bit. In the same fashion, if we do the multiplication or division between the 32 bit, the result may be 64 bit. So that's why out of 32 bit, 33rd, 34 or up to 63rd bit will be enabled or disabled. So in that situation, the overflow of arithmetic logic unit operation will get carried out. So that's why who will hold that overflowed bits? So that's why here that will be indicated by the overflow flag. Okay, so that's why that result is not held by anyone, but here that will be indicated by the overflow flag. So that's why user will take care of that action. Okay, the programmer will take care of the overflowed bit. Okay, so that's why here this overflow flag will be monitored by the programmer whether the result is overflowed or not. If it is not overflowed, v bit will be 0. If the overflow situation will arise, that time the v bit will be 1. Okay, so these are about the condition code flag. Okay, so that's why these bits are sets or reset according to the arithmetic logic and unit operations. Now next one bit is interrupt disable bit. Now in our ARM systems, two interrupt bits are present. First one is IRQ and second one is FIQ. Now F indicate a FIQ bit and its presence is at 6th place. Okay, 6 bit in the 32 bit CPSR register. Okay, it indicate a F flag. When this flag is 1, it indicate the interrupt is disable the FIQ. When it is 0, then it indicate the F flag is enabled. In the same fashion, a IRQ flag is there. IRQ means interrupt request. Okay, this flag is present at 7 bit. Okay, 7 bit is I in the CPSR register. and this bit will be 1 when it disable the IRQ. When it is 1, when it is 0, that time the IRQ is enabled. Okay. Now the next one bit is T. T indicate a thumb bit. Our ARM processor can operate in ARM status or in thumb status. Okay, so that's why the ARM state or thumb state is introduced with the help of this T bit. When T bit is 0, the processor is work in ARM state. Similarly, when T bit is 1, the processor is work in thumb state. Remember, I already told you ARM state is 32-bit, thumb state is 16-bit. So the processor core gets switched from 32-bit to 16-bit or 16-bit to 32-bit. So to do this action, T bit is responsible. T bit is 0, then ARM processor will work in 32-bit. When T bit is 1, ARM processor is working 16-bit. Okay. Now similarly here, the next one bit is sticky overflow flag. It is represented by Q. It has 27 place in the CPSR register. It indicates if saturation has occurred. Okay, so that's why this is the sticky overflow flag. It indicates whether any kind of overflow flag, overflow or saturation will be occurred. So that's why it will be represented by Q flag. Similarly, J bit is present. J is called as a Jazelle bit. Okay, so that's why whenever the Java code is needed, that time the CPSR has 24th bit. It is a J bit. It indicates whether the processor is in Jazelle state or in the simple state. Okay, so that's why when processor is not in Jazelle state, J bit will be 0. When the processor is in Jazelle state, that time this bit will be 1. Okay, so this is about the different modes, different bits of the ARM7. Similarly, the mode bits are present. Actually, ARM7 has 7 modes of operation. So that's why these 7 modes of operation will be specified by the bit 0 to bit 4. Okay, so that's why total 5 bits are present. Okay, so these 5 bits are shown in the next one slides. Okay, I will show you one by one. See here. Here in this slide, you can able to see the mode bits. Mode bits are M0 to M4. Okay, from this CPSR, here total 5 bits are reserved for this. So here total 7 modes are represented. These 7 modes are user, FIQ, IRQ, supervisor, abort, undefined and system mode. Uh, in this slide, you can see total 4 columns are given. First column is telling about the mode. Now see, first column is telling you about the mode bits M0 to M4. Second is name of mode. Third column is giving you information about which are the visible thumb state register, and fourth column is giving you information about visible arm state register. Right, now we will see each and every mode one by one with their visible registers and their bits. Okay, so here first mode is user. Okay, its bits are 10000. Okay, now here under this you can see thumb visible bit. Okay, R0 to R7. Okay, these bits are visible to you. Okay, these bits are visible in all columns. So again I am not telling you only the change bits, I am telling you. Here you can find a stack pointer, okay, and link register. Similarly, PC and CPSR register is present. Okay, so here uh, the name of the register are like this, but similarly, if you look visible ARM state register, you can see R0 to R14 are available, then program counter and CPSR register will be available. Okay. Second mode is FIQ. In this FIQ mode, the mode bits are 10001. In thumb state, you can see R0 to R7. Now here, LR is named as LR underscore FIQ and SP underscore FIQ. Means FIQ, LR and SPs are available. Similarly, program counter, CPSR, and here one additional register is available like SPSR. Okay. In ARM state, you can see R0 to R7 are available. R8 to R14 are the register, they are coming from FIQ mode. Then PC CPSR register as it is available from user, and SPSR is a FIQ name register. Okay. So these changes you can see in FIQ mode. Similarly, IRQ you can see mode bits are 10010. Okay. And thumb visible bits are R0 to R7. Then SP and LR are from IRQ. Okay. Then PC CPS are from user mode, and new SPSR will be from IRQ mode. Similarly, you can see ARM state register like R0 to R12 are available. R13, R14 and SPSR from IRQ mode, and PC and CPSR from user mode. Okay. Then supervisor mode is there. Supervisor mode introductions point of view, you need to enable the bits of mode bits like 10011. Here thumb state registers are R0 to R7. Similarly, PC and CPSR are coming from user mode, and SP, LR and SPSR, these registers are coming from supervisor mode. If you talk about the ARM state register, then R0 to R12, PC and CPS are coming from the user mode. Then R14, R13 and SPSR are coming from the supervisor mode. Okay. Then abort mode you can introduce by 10111 mode bits. Here the thumb state registers are R0 to R7, PC and CPSR. LR, SP and SPSR coming from the abort mode. Under the ARM state register, you can see R0 to R12 and PC CPSR are available from user mode. R13, R14 and SPSR coming from abort mode. Then undefined mode you can enable by 11011 bit. R0 to R7 PC CPSR are coming from the user mode. SP, LR and SPSR are coming under the undefined. Under the ARM state register, you can find R0 to R12, PC and CPSR are coming from user mode. Okay, here R13, R14 are coming from the ARM state, are coming from the undefined mode. Okay. Here you can see SPSR will be there. That SPSR is coming from undefined mode, but it is not shown. Okay. System mode is introduced by keeping 11111 mode bit. R0 to R7, LR, SP and PC, CPSR all are coming from the user mode. Here it is utilizing the entire user mode. Only R8 to R13 register are not present. ARM state carries R0 to R14, PC and CPSR. Here SPSR is not present. So this will be the ARM and thumb state register visible bits. Okay, and in this way you can able to enable the mode bits. Okay, so you should know, as per MCQ point of view, these bits may ask. Okay, now here the next one slide that I would like to tell you here, after the discussion of these CPSR register, when the processor is executing ARM state, you can find all instructions are of 32-bit wide. All instruction must be word aligned. Therefore, the PC value is stored in between 2 to 31 bit. Okay, and bits 1 and 0 are undefined. Okay, they are undefined for instruction that cannot be used for half word or byte aligns. When the processor is executing in thumb state, all instruction are 16-bit wide. All instruction must be half word aligned. Therefore, the PC value is stored in bits 1 to 31 and bit 0 is undefined bit. When the processor is executing a Zazzle state, all instruction are 8-bit wide and the processor will perform a word access to read 4-bit instruction at once. Right? So these things are happen under the register summary. Okay. Now the next point that I want to tell you, that saved program status register. Okay, after CPSR we will see what is SPSR. Okay, now SPSR is not available in user mode. It is always available in the different modes of operation. Like each privilege mode has associated with it a SPSR. Okay, so except system mode and user mode, it is available. This SPSR is used to save the status of CPSR when the privilege mode is entered, in order that the user state can be fully restored when the user process is resumed. यानी ध्यान में रखो, जब आप वहाँ यूजर मोड टू एनी अनदर मोड वहाँ अगर स्विच हो रहा है आपका ARM7, तो ऐसे सिचुएशन में CPSR और SPSR यहाँ अवेलेबल होंगे. ओके, तो CPSR यूजर मोड का रहेगा, लेकिन CPSR का स्टेटस आपको SPSR में कॉपी करना पड़ेगा, वो ऑटोमेटिकली होगा. और SPSR वहाँ रिजॉल्व करेगा CPSR के बिट, और CPSR जैसे ही एम्प्टी होगा तो वह अदर मोड में वहाँ करंट ऑपरेशन के साथ हेल्प करेगा. सो ये स्ट्रेटजी वहाँ ऑलरेडी डिफाइन है, तो ये स्ट्रेटजी आपको SPSR और CPSR की यूज करनी रहेगी. Often the SPSR may be untouched from the time the privilege mode is entered to the time it is used to be restored the CPSR. If the privilege supervisor calls it to itself, the SPSR must be copied into a general register and saved. Okay, यानी whenever आप अगर यहाँ अगर मोड ऑफ ऑपरेशन में हो, तो मोड ऑफ ऑपरेशन में वहां पर SPSR सिर्फ रिजर्व करेगा CPSR के कंटेंट, लेकिन जब सुपरविजर मोड वहां फिर से इंट्रोड्यूस होगा या यूजर मोड फिर से इंट्रोड्यूस होगा, तो ऐसे सिचुएशन में वहाँ IRQ FIQ अनडिफाइन अबाउट इन मोड से हम रिटर्न जाएंगे वहाँ यूजर पे. तो जब यूजर पे रिटर्न जाएंगे तो वहाँ रिटर्न जाते समय SPSR का जो भी स्टेटस रहेगा, जो भी कंटेंट वहाँ ऑलरेडी प्रिजर्व थे, स्टोर्ड थे CPSR के, तो वो फिर से रिटर्न CPSR में कॉपी किए जाएंगे. ओके, गेटिंग दिस पॉइंट? Now I am going to tell you here what is exceptions. Okay, so here question arise here, क्या exceptions क्या है? What is the purpose of the exceptions in our ARM system? Remember, already you are aware with the interrupts. You already handle the interrupts in the different controllers. AVRs, okay, ARMs, okay, in a microprocessor, microcontroller, as well as AVRs, or in a Arduino board, okay, you already handle the exceptions. But now you already handle the interrupts. Okay, now the interrupts are very similar to the exception, or exceptions are very similar to the interrupts. Okay, so that's why here exceptions are usually used to handle the unexpected event which arise during the execution of a program, okay, such as interrupt or memory fault. Also it cover software interrupts, okay, undefined interrupts, traps, and the system reset. Okay, all these things are get handled with the help of exception. So remember, exception are usually used to handle the unexpected event. जब unexpected event arise होगा, यानी वहाँ कोई इंटरप्ट हो सकता है, कोई मेमोरी फॉल्ट हो सकता है, या सॉफ्टवेयर इंटरप्ट हो सकते हैं, या कोई अनडिफाइंड इंस्ट्रक्शन हो सकती है, या अनडिफाइंड ट्रैप हो सकता है, या ट्रैप यानी एक्सटर्नल को प्रोसेसर इंस्ट्रक्शन हो सकती है। ओके, अगर इस तरह के अगर वहाँ कोई अगर अनडिफाइंड या अनएक्सपेक्टेड इवेंट्स अगर अराइज होते हैं, तो ऐसे सिचुएशन में वहाँ एक्सेप्शंस को कॉल किए जाते हैं। नाउ वी विल सी the exceptions are categorized into three groups. Exceptions are generated as direct effect of execution of an instruction like software instruction, undefined instruction and prefetch abort. ये direct effect रहते हैं. Similarly, side effect क्या होते हैं? Exception generally generated as a side effect of an instruction like data abort. ओके, डेटा एबॉर्शन यहाँ पर रहेगा, तो वो डेटा एबॉर्ट यहाँ पर होता है, इट इज अ साइड इफेक्ट। या एक्सेप्शंस आर जनरेटेड एक्सटर्नली, यानी अगर वो कोई एक्सटर्नल इंटरप्ट है, लाइक रीसेट है, IRQ है, FIQ है, तो ये ऐसे टोटल 3 कैटेगरी में आपको एक्सेप्शंस यहाँ एक्सप्लेन किया है। तो रिमेंबर, तो ये 3 कैटेगरी जनरली एक्सेप्शंस की रहती है। ओके, नाउ अभी अगर एक्सेप्शन अगर आया या एक्सेप्शंस अगर इंट्रोड्यूस होता है तो क्या होता है? सो दैट्स वाई यहाँ पॉइंट दिया है एक्सेप्शंस ऑन एंट्री। ओके, तो जब एक्सेप्शन इंट्रोड्यूस होगा तो प्रोसेसर, आर्म प्रोसेसर की क्या यहाँ पर एक्शन रहेगी? सी, व्हेन एन एक्सेप्शन अराइजेस, आर्म कंप्लीट्स द करंट इंस्ट्रक्शन as best it can, okay, handle the exceptions which starts from a specific locations. Okay, it will be depend on the vector address. So already given you the vector addresses. Okay, so that's why that vector addresses are taken in consideration. Okay, see here, these are the vector address table. Just I am coming over this. Okay, first of all I will complete it. Okay, so that's why exceptions are called according to the vector address. Okay, so that's why here whenever an exception arises, first of all the task of the arm is to complete the current execution of the instruction. Once it complete, immediately it will see which type of exception is arise. Okay, it will see who is going to who is going to earn request, either it will be interrupt, either it will be a side effect, or either it will be a direct effect. Okay, so it will be depend on the given 3 categories. Okay, immediately that exception will generate an a vector address. So that's why over that vector address immediately the exception will get switched. But before switching, what action will be carried out by the processor? Processor performs the following sequence of operations, like first, change to the operating mode corresponding to the particular exception. यानी सबसे पहले वहां पर उसको मोड चेंज करना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि ये जो सारे एक्सेप्शन है मोड वाइज ही इंट्रोड्यूस होते हैं। तो मोड वाइज जब इंट्रोड्यूस होंगे तो वहां पर इमीडिएटली प्रोसेसर को वहां मोड स्विच करना पड़ेगा। सो दैट्स वाई चेंजेस change to the operating mode corresponding to the particular exceptions. Okay, second, it store the return address in LR. ओके, लिंक रजिस्टर वहां पर R14 नाम का जो लिंक रजिस्टर है वहां पर इंट्रोड्यूस होगा, और उसमें वहां अपना पर्टिकुलर जो रिटर्न एड्रेस है यानी नेक्स्ट इंस्ट्रक्शन का जो एड्रेस है वहां पर वो स्टोर आउट कर देगा। यानी जहां एक्सेप्शन अराइज हुआ है तो उसका नेक्स्ट इंस्ट्रक्शन का एड्रेस किसमें प्रेजेंट रहेगा? प्रोग्राम काउंटर में। सो दैट्स वाई वह प्रोग्राम काउंटर का जो एड्रेस है वह लिंक रजिस्टर में कॉपी आउट हो जाएगा और वह रिटर्न एड्रेस एज अ होल्ड करेगा. Similarly, second thing will be coming in picture. It will copy the CPSR status into the SPSR. क्योंकि हम मोड में जा रहे हैं तो मोड में वहां पर SPSR रहेगा 32 बिट का, वो उसका काम ही है वो CPSR का स्टेटस होल्ड करने का. सो दैट्स व्हाई CPSR status is get copied into the SPSR. It will sets appropriate CPSR bits. यानी यहाँ पर अगर एक्सेप्शन इंट्रोड्यूस हो रहा है तो एक्सेप्शन इंट्रोड्यूस होते समय वहाँ कोई यूजर ने या कोई प्रोग्रामिंग में कोई डिफाइन किए हैं क्या कुछ बिट्स. ओके, इट विल सेट्स द अप्रोप्रिएट CPSR बिट्स. इफ कोर करंटली इन थंब स्टेट देन आर्म स्टेट इज एंटर्ड. अगर कोर अगर करंटली थंब स्टेट में अगर होगी तो वो आर्म स्टेट में आ जाएगी. इट विल डिसेबल IRQ बाय सेटिंग बिट 7. ओके, वो IRQ को डिसेबल कर देगा. ओके, बाय सेटिंग द 7 bit. Okay, if the exception is a fast interrupt, it will disable the fast interrupt bit by setting the 6 bit of the CPSR. अभी वो देख लेगा कि भाई यहाँ पर IRQ इंटरप्ट है क्या FIQ इंटरप्ट है, इसके अकॉर्डिंग वो वहां पर बिट्स को एनेबल करेगा. ओके, नाउ here you can able to see a vector address table. Okay, so that's why PC will forces to the relevant vector addresses. यानी प्रोग्राम काउंटर यहाँ पर इस पर्टिकुलर एड्रेस को कैच करेगा. अगर यहाँ पर एक्सेप्शन ओके, और रिमेंबर यहाँ पर आपको इस टेबल में आपको क्या क्या दिया है. पहला कॉलम दिया है प्रायोरिटी का, सेकंड कॉलम दिया है नेम ऑफ एक्सेप्शन, थर्ड कॉलम दिया है कौन से मोड में आप स्विच कर रहे हो, और फोर्थ कॉलम दिया है मोड का वेक्टर एड्रेस दिया है. यानी SVC का एड्रेस क्या है, एबॉट का एड्रेस क्या है, ये सारे एड्रेसेस यहाँ पर फिजिकल एड्रेसेस देखे रखे हैं. बराबर. सो दैट्स वाई यहाँ पर हम एक एक करके देखते हैं. यहाँ एक्सेप्शन आएगा पहला रीसेट, इसको प्रायोरिटी है 1. यहाँ सुपरविजर मोड रहेगा. ओके, और सुपरविजर मोड में वेक्टर एड्रेस रहेगा 0. ओके, 0x0. ओके, इस तरह यहाँ इसका एड्रेस रहेगा. सेकंड रहेगा एक्सेप्शन डेटा अबॉट. यानी अगर यहाँ डेटा एक्सेस मेमोरी फॉल्ट अगर इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ है तो इसकी प्रायोरिटी है सेकंड. ओके, इसको अबॉट मोड कहा गया है. इस अबॉट मोड में वेक्टर एड्रेस रहेगा 0x10. मैं शॉर्टली यहाँ पर रीड कर रहा हूँ ना, तो कंप्लीट वहाँ एड्रेस ना रीड करते हुए जो फिजिकली प्रेजेंट रहते हैं 0x10 भी रीड किया तो चलेगा. राइट. देन थर्ड एक्सेप्शन आता है FIQ. FIQ is a fast interrupt. It has third priority. Remember, डेटा अबाउट को सेकंड प्रायोरिटी है, FIQ को थर्ड प्रायोरिटी है. ओके, सो दैट्स वाई यहाँ आपको FIQ में वेक्टर एड्रेस रहेगा 0x1CH. ओके, सिमिलरली IRQ has fourth priority. It is a normal interrupt and it is shortly abbreviated as IRQ और इसका एड्रेस रहेगा 0x18. सिमिलरली एक्सेप्शन आएगा प्रीफेच अबाउट. ओके, इसके इंस्ट्रक्शन फेच मेमोरी फॉल्ट रहेगा. ओके, इसको यहाँ पर प्रायोरिटी 5th रहेगी. ओके, और इसका एड्रेस रहेगा 0x, यहाँ पर 0C हो गया है तो वह रहेगा 0x0C रहेगा. तो इस तरह इसका वेक्टर एड्रेस रहेगा. देन 6 एक्सेप्शन आता है. यह 6 एक्सेप्शन आइदर अनडिफाइंड इंस्ट्रक्शन रह सकती है या फिर सॉफ्टवेयर इंटरप्ट इंस्ट्रक्शन रह सकती है. ओके, तो इस तरह की इंस्ट्रक्शंस अगर रहेगी तो यहाँ इसकी प्रायोरिटी रहेगी 6. ओके, इसे आइदर अनडिफाइंड कैटेगरी में डाला गया है या SVC कैटेगरी में दिया गया है. इसके वेक्टर एड्रेसेस है 0x04 ओके या 0x08. इस तरह के एड्रेसेस यहाँ पर प्रेजेंट रहेंगे. गेटिंग एवरीवन? नॉर्मली द वेक्टर एड्रेसेस कंटेन अ ब्रांच टू द रिलेवेंट रूटीन. एक्सेप्शन हैंडलर यूजेस R13 okay or R14 to hold a stack pointer or a return address. Okay, so that's why यहाँ पर आपको इस तरह के जो रजिस्टर है R13 और R14 इस स्टैक पॉइंटर के लिए यूज होगा या रिटर्न एड्रेसेस के लिए यूज होगा. ओके, तो ये एक्सेप्शन हैंडलर ये हैंडल करेगा. ओके, now this is about the exception entry. Now we will see how the exception ऑन एग्जिट रहेगा या एक्सेप्शन ऑन रिटर्न रहेगा. एक्सेप्शन बोले तो अ प्रोग्राम. ओके, एक्सेप्शन बोले तो अ प्रोग्राम. ओके, ये प्रोग्राम आइदर रीसेट के लिए रहेगा, डेटा अबॉर्ट के लिए रहेगा, FIQ या इंटरप्ट के लिए रहेगा, प्रीपेज अबॉर्ट के लिए रहेगा. मीन्स इट विल बी योर routine, it will be routine. Okay, that routine is reserved at these addresses. Okay, means whenever the program counter will see if there is an exception, immediately that exception routine is called by the program counter. These vector addresses are assigned to the program counter. Once the program counter is switched over these exception addresses, the processor will execute that exception. Once the exceptions are completed, then the processor will comes returns to the normal mode. So that's why exception return is required. Once the exception has been handled, the user task is normally resumed. Okay, यानी हम resume करेंगे फिर से user mode में. Now what will be the sequence followed by the ARM7 to return over the normal mode or user mode? Okay, here any modified user register must be restored from the handler stack. Okay, CPSR must be restored from the appropriate SPSR and PC must be changed back to the relevant instruction address. Getting this point? So that's why here this sequence is carried out by the ARM7. The last two steps happen automatically as a part of single instruction. Okay, लेकिन यहाँ पर जो पहली स्टेप है, any modified user register must be restored from the handler stack. यानी whenever we are going from normal mode to the exception, that time the register status is get preserved into the stack, and stack will preserve it once the processor goes in exception handling. Okay, once the exception handling is carried out, immediately the processor would like to switch over the user mode. So that's why that is the normal mode. So that's why to resume all the activity, the processor has to come over the normal routine. So that's why to come on the normal routine, the register status must get preserved from the stack. So that's why here the sentence is given, any modified user register must be restored from the handler stack. Okay, right? Now here exceptions of ARM7 are given in list. Okay, as I already given you the different modes of exceptions. Okay, types of exceptions. So here you can see mode change as can be under made under like software control, exception interrupt, or exception process. The mode other than user mode or privilege mode have full access to the system resources and can changes mode freely. And exception mode like FIQ, IRQ, supervisor, abort and undefined. Okay, ये इतने सारे exceptions mode आएंगे. तो देखिए आपको यहाँ पर टास्क फ्लो भी दे के रखा है. इस टास्क फ्लो में आपको यहाँ पर रूटीन दी है. ये येलो कलर का जो बॉक्सेस आपको शो किए हैं, ओके, और ब्लू कलर के बॉक्सेस आपको, स्काई ब्लू कलर के बॉक्सेस आपको शो किए हैं, ये आपको शो कर रहे हैं एक्सेप्शन, और येलो कलर के नॉर्मल रूटीन है. तो नॉर्मल रूटीन टू आप वहां पर एक्सेप्शन में जा रहे हैं और एक्सेप्शन से फिर से आप नॉर्मल रूटीन में आ रहे हो. इस तरह का आपको टास्क फ्लो यहाँ पर शो आउट किया है. ओके, नाउ here you can find these are the types of exceptions, classes of exceptions and their description. Okay, most of the cases there is a need of the class. Okay, so that's why I am giving you here a type of class and their description. So here reset is one of the exception that will becomes when the power up or whenever we turn on the ARM7. Okay, so that's why reset option will be get carried out. Then undefined instruction mode will be carried out. It is a fault. Okay, it is a type of fault. Okay, it comes under the class. It is a fault. Okay, it is because of invalid instruction or co-processor instruction. Similarly, prefetch abort is coming under the fault category, and it is arise due to the TLB miss for instruction. Okay, so here task execution misses for instructions. Okay. Similarly, data abort is also coming under that. Okay, so that's why it is called. Okay, and it is comes under the TLB miss for data access. Similarly, IRQ is coming under the interrupt. Okay, it is one of the interrupt, so that's why it is. It has a normal interrupt category. FIQ is a fast interrupt, so that's why it is again coming under the interrupt class, and it has a fast category. And here it has no context switch. Okay, and it has no context switch. Context switch is one of the major point in the real-time operating system. So we will discuss it later on. Now I am not going to tell you here this point. Okay, so see, next one is SWN, software interrupt. Okay, it comes under the trap category. Okay, it is undefined or a coprocessor instruction. Okay, so these are the different classes and their descriptions. Similarly here, vector addresses are given for each and every. We already seen the exceptions, their vector addresses and modes on entry. Okay, so for reset it is 0x00, undefined instruction it is 0x04. Similarly, for software interrupt instruction, it is 0x08. For prefetch abort, it is 0x0C. For data abort operation, it is 0x10. For IRQ operation, it is 0x18. For FIQ, it is 0x1C. And for resort category, it is 0x14. Okay. So these are the vector addresses. Okay. Here again, the same process I have given you. Okay, how the exception will occur and how the exception will get carried out after the. Okay, so this is about the exception handling. Okay, now lastly I am telling you here the priorities. Once again I am repeating all the priority. Okay, exception priority: when multiple exceptions arise at the same time, a fixed priority system determine the order in which they are handled. So highest priority is given to the reset, then second one have a data abort, third one is FIQ, fourth one is IRQ, fifth one is prefetch abort, and a sixth one priority is given, means lowest priority is given to undefined or software instruction. Okay, so this is about the exceptions and their priorities, their vector addresses. So I hope you got the clear idea about the exceptions. Okay, as well as the register summary of the ARM7. Okay, so I hope this video will be very much informative for you. Okay, so thank you very much for watching this video. I am requesting you to give your attendance, okay, as in the comment box. Okay, as well as those who are watching from outside stations, okay, they can also give their comments in the comment box. Okay, as well as try to share my channel, as well as try to like my channel, subscribe my channel. Thank you very much.